Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jenny. I'm from Jenny Card Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. My YouTube channel contains content that is intended to share paper crafting tutorials and inspiration with all of you. I hope that you enjoy. Okay, today's video is another installment of Chop It Up. We're going to cut up some beautiful 12 by 12 pattern paper to create some fun projects. I'm going to be using this 12 by 12 paper pad from Recollections. It's called Butterfly Collage, and I'm just going to pull out 2 of the sheets that have cut aparts in them. That's what I'm going to be using today to create my projects. So I'm going to grab my trimmer and I'm going to start cutting apart these pieces. I first cut off that little top colored strip, and then I cut each piece down into individual squares. These turn out to be 3 by 4 inch pieces, and we get 12 out of that one sheet of cardstock. And then out of this second sheet there are a bunch of different size cut aparts. So I'm going to go ahead and trim those up, and then this is what we have. I've got a bunch of pieces and I'm going to sort them out. So here are some tags, and then these ones I think I can use as card fronts. And then there's a few different size pieces, and I'll just kind of run through it and decide what I want to use each one for. There's a couple of pieces I'm going to put into a journal, and I'm not sure if we'll make it to that in this video, but we'll see how far we get. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with the card fronts. Oh no, first I'm going to cut apart the tags. There are these little corners that need to be trimmed off on the tags so that they look like tags, and I'll just trim those off, and I'll do that to all of the tags that I have, and then those will be ready to go into the journal that I'm going to make later on. And I'll set those aside for now. And so we get 4 beautiful tags, and then the rest of the pieces I'm going to set aside, and I'm going to work on these card front pieces. So there are a couple that I can't use on a card front because there's no sentiment, so I put them off to the side because they need a sentiment. The other pieces are ready to go. They're ready for a card. There's no other work needed, so I'm going to create some simple cards with those. I had a request about the little file folder dividers that I use inside of my bin. This is a bin where I keep all of my card bases and card panels all cut up and labeled. And basically it's just a sheet of cardstock that measures 5 inches by 7 inches. And so what I do is I slip it into my cutter. I line it up to the 3/4 inch mark to the right side of the cutting blade. And I cut across the 5 inch side for this part. And I start cutting from the bottom up, and I stop at about 2 inches, sometimes 2.5, depending on how much space I need. And then I turn the cardstock around, and then I go from the top and I cut down about 3/4 inch in, just to meet in the corner to be able to cut off this little strip. And then here you have your little file folder divider. Now you can round the corners if you like, or decorate it however. You can use pattern paper, you can use colored cardstock, you can laminate these, whatever you want to do. I just use some flimsy white cardstock just to show you kind of how I do my little file folders. And that's it. So it's nothing special or fancy. I just label it with my label maker, and then I've got a cute organized little space for all of my card fronts. Okay, so I'm going to grab a stack of A2 size top folding note cards, and I'm just going to basically glue these little panels down on the center of my note cards. I'm not doing anything extra here. It's so simple, so easy, super quick little cards, and I'm just going to pick up each little panel and glue them down on the front of each of the card bases, and that's it. It's very simple but very pretty. Okay, and for a couple of these I pulled in some cardstock that I have just to add a little bit of extra color on some of them, or create some separation between the white and the backgrounds. Some of them I felt like they just needed a little extra something, so I just matted the little pieces on some colored cardstock. I did one here in black. I thought that looked nice. And then some of them I just glued right down to the front of the card base. So I grabbed my bone folder and creased all of the folds, and I ended up with 7 super easy, super simple cards in a matter of a couple of minutes. So here we are. Here is a close-up look at all 7 of the cards that I made. These are probably the fastest cards I've ever made in all of the years I've been making cards. And I really like the way they turn out. They're super pretty and cute. You can give them for birthdays or gifts or just because, inspiration, encouragement. That's it. All right, let's move along to the next part of this video. Okay, so I've got a bunch of cut aparts here, and I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to use them in creating a little book. Now this could be a mini album, or it could be just a little journal, whatever you want it to be. Now I have created a tutorial for this particular book, and I believe it was called my winter journal. I'll link to the video to show you how to create this book. It's super simple and easy. And when it's completed, it measures 6.5 by 6.5, and it's got these little pockets in the top so that you can slip in tags or photos and things like that. So I'm not going to show you how to make this book today. More or less, we're just going to decorate today. So if you're interested in that video, check it out. You'll find it in the description down below, and I'll also add a little card up on the screen so that you can click that too. All right, so I just added another piece of cardstock to my chipboard cover. This cardstock I used to create this book is Gina K Designs Plum Punch. And I found a perfect spot for one of these large cut aparts right on the front of my book. I really like this Spread Your Wings and Fly. It's so pretty, and I love the gold elements in it. So I also have some peel off stickers. Now people ask me all the time where I get these. These are so hard to find. I picked these up at a craft store, and I'll link in the description box down below, in Ontario, Canada, and they do online shipping, and I believe that they're also located in the US. I believe they are a UK product originally. So I guess you just have to search around and find them, but they're a tough find. So whenever I do find them, I buy a whole bunch. So I've just gone ahead and put a little peel off on the front. Obviously we've passed that by now. And now I'm just going to start gluing down pieces on the inside of my book to create little elements. So here I'm gluing a little bit of this pattern paper down. This is a little butterfly card, and I'm just gluing on the side and the bottom so that I can create a little pocket to tuck stuff in. Super cute. So now I'm just going to mess around, and I decided to pull in that paper pack one more time to see if I could find some large pattern elements that I could lay down in the background of my book to be able to put photos and stuff on top, or to add the little smaller elements like the tags and things. So I found this pattern paper, and because I'm a card maker and not a scrapbooker, I feel like this is so much easier for me to use up some of the patterns that can't quite be used for card fronts. So for this piece, I'm going to cut it down in half at 6 inches and then cut it again at 6 inches. So I'll create two 6 by 6 pieces, and I'll glue those right down inside of my book. It creates a perfect matted layer so that you still see that beautiful plum punch cardstock, and it gives it a nice border. So that's what I really like about this book, is that it's 6.5 inches, so that you don't have to really work very hard at creating layers. Super simple and easy. Here's a 4 by 6 inch piece, and it's got the same 1/4 inch border all the way around. Super cute. And so this first page of my book is done, and I'll work on the rest of it later on. But now I've got some places to write messages, add little photos, attach little things like this fun paper clip and a tag. And yeah, I just have fun creating these little books and sticking little things in them. They're super cute and super fun. And I love the little secret pockets on the top. So I have these large white tags, and I felt like they were just too plain. It needed something like, you know, extra special to pull out of there. It can't just be a white piece of cardstock. So I'm going to grab that same yellow floral pattern, and I'm going to glue an entire piece and cover. I tried this butterfly pattern. I didn't like it. So I'm going to cover the whole tag with this piece, and I'm going to leave that little strip on the top, which is sort of like the branding strip of the pattern paper. Some pattern papers have them in the 12 by 12 packs from Michaels, and some don't. This particular one does. So I'm just going to glue everything on and trim off the excess that hangs over the tag, so that we get this gorgeous little tag. And then I'm just going to punch a hole, and then our tag now coordinates with that page in our book. Super pretty. And I just want to make it a little extra special. I'm just using my bone folder to press that glue in so that it spreads around nicely. And now I've got some sheer ribbon. I'm going to cut off a little piece. It's about 6 inches. And I'll feed it through my hole and fold it in half. And then what I'm going to do is take a little bit of baker's twine and tie a little bow around that ribbon. It just makes it look a little fancy. I have no intentions of tying this to a package or anything. This is more just to be able to grab it and pull it out of my book, and so that it kind of sticks out and looks all fun and pretty. So I'm just going to stick something on my ribbon there to hold it down and tie a double looped bow. I'm going to tie it once and then I'm going to tie a double knot in my bow to make sure that it doesn't come apart. Now, if you're anything like me, I'm a bow fiddler. I could fiddle with these bows forever, and it would never be the way I want it to be. I always have like one tail up and one tail down, and my loops are never the same size, and sometimes you just have to accept the fact that imperfections are perfect. So I think there's a YouTuber named Shada Campbell, and she does watercolors, and one of the sayings that I hear her say all the time is perfectly imperfect. I love that. So it kind of stuck with me. All right, so I stuck my little tag in, super pretty. I love the way that looks. And now I'm just gonna mess around with some of the elements, and I'm gonna use some paper clips, some binder clips. I'm gonna clip things in, and so I just mess around with it until I'm happy with it. And so one more tag I'm going to create with this sort of peachy floral element. This is one of those little cut aparts, and I wanted to trim it down a little bit because it was a bit too big, but I really liked it on this craft cardstock. So I wanted to create another tag for my book out of craft cardstock. So I glued down this wreath to my tag. I just used tape runner here. My glue bottle got clogged and I had to mess with it, so I didn't want to stop crafting, so I just kept going with what I had. So I glued that down, and then I got some more of those little peel-offs. Now whenever I use my peel-offs, I save every little tiny itty-bitty piece. So if I cut something, I stick it right back down to the sticker sheet, because you just never know when you're just going to need a little tiny piece to finish something off. So I take some of those little tiny pieces and put them together to create a fun glittery border on this tag. Because this tag is craft and soft and simple, I feel like that gold glitter is just like something like, wow, you know, like it creates a beautiful effect, and I love the way it looks. So I just pieced together a bunch of little pieces, and no one will ever know. It looks really pretty, and I'm going to stick that into my book. So I'm going to put that on the next hole where the tags go. I'm going to pull out that plain white one and slip this one in, and I'm going to continue working away and fill up my book. Now, I didn't have time to finish it today. This is going to be where we stop for this video, and I'm just going to show you very quickly what I've made so far. So I've got a good start to my little journaling book here, and 7 simple cards that took me minutes to make, and that's it. Oh, I'm going to pair these little cards with a simple white envelope, and I'll stack them up all together. And then I'm going to put them inside of a clear card bag. I'm going to give this away to someone, so I like to have it sort of like all together in this little bag, and then it looks so professional. So I just flip some around the other way so that you can see both types of cards in the package, so that you can tell that they're different. So I'm just going to peel away the adhesive sticker and seal up this bag, and now I have a cute little gift to give away. Super cost effective, super cute, and you know, whoever's gonna get is gonna love it. So that's it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed this segment of Chop It Up. This is my absolute favorite YouTube series to create. I love cutting up cardstock that I have in my stash to create fun projects. If you're anything like me, you're kind of starting to run out of money for all of the new releases and fun things that keep coming out. And I just can't justify purchase after purchase after purchase. So sometimes you need to just take a step back, pull out the things that are in your craft room and use them. And that's what we've done today. Okay, thanks so much for joining me. Have yourself a lovely day. Oh, coming up on screen are a couple of videos I think you may enjoy, including the full playlist for the Chop It Up series. Have yourself a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!